Hello and welcome to Behind the Fender podcast by the Short Map Players Tour. My name is Mitchell Young. I'm one of the newly appointed SMPT directors. If you've not heard of the Short Map Players Tour, we are a short map bowls company who organise and run short map bowls events across the UK and Europe to promote the game of short map bowls. All our events are open to anyone to play in, and for more information, head over to our website, shortmapplayerstour.com. Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of Behind the Fender podcast and our final one of the year. I'm joined by our panel of Craig Burgess and Simon Pridden. How are you both?
Hi Mitchell, very well, thank you very much. Hope you're good.
Yeah, all good, Mitchell. Yeah, all good.
Good. Okay, so this is going to be a shorter one than usual on this episode, but we've still got loads of action that's happened since the last time we met just before the Norwegian Open. So we'll crack on with the Nordic Caravan Norwegian Open for 2023, and our champion was Peter Roberts, winning back-to-back titles and is now our current world number one. It was, another great event. Got more entries than we did the previous year, so continue to progress over in skiing in Norway for that competition. So what did you guys' assessment of the tournament?
Go on, Craig, dive in.
Yeah, no, again, I love Norway, love the venue. Obviously the people make you feel so welcome as well, and I just think it was another great weekend. We didn't have the streaming as we have done in previous years, and but just a quick one to say that with best wishes to Harold, and I know his partner who's Ukrainian. Hopefully all well and keep him well. But yeah, in terms of the tournament itself, really good weekend. I think there's quite a few new players as well that had played and come across, which was really good. And Peter showing his class again on the fast mats, showing why he's up there and obviously now has topped the rankings.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As you say, I always love going to Norway. Everyone there makes you feel really welcome. It was another good event. Some really good matches actually, and Peter winning again. So emulating Benny Shawgren, who'd obviously won 2 previously in a row. So well done to him. And we must obviously mention our very own Stephen Gale making the final. He had a really good weekend actually, beating some really good players and Craig Burgess. On his way to the final. So yeah, what a brilliant weekend it was.
I was just going to say that's got to be one of our first or one of very rare occurrences of the SMPT director battles, which you don't see very often.
Actually, I can remember, and Phil was going to, I'm sure, recall, he did win more ends. I'm sure that's what his first thing he'll say. But that's probably the only other time that I can remember any of us playing against each other. So
in the singles, yeah, definitely.
Yes, in the singles, yeah. So that would have been about 2014, so a long while ago. But yeah, no, Stephen played very well. I felt I was playing especially on the Saturday, played very well. Had a good game against Alex, and again, for me, playing on the fast mats, I do love playing on the fast mats. I took a different set of woods over with me. Felt really comfortable playing with them. But yeah, Stephen will say himself against me. He did have a couple of little rubs that went his way, and in a tight match, that does make a difference. But he took full advantage of that and continued that on, and in the final, come up against Peter, who was in very good form once again. I think that the show mat was tricky. I played Alex on it the day before, and I felt so comfortable on it, playing just one hand. There was one hand that for me worked really well, and I just stuck to that and didn't play any shots really on the other side of the mat at all. But having commentated and filmed quite a few matches on that show mat, you could see where those players that were just adapting to that one side and sticking to that. I don't know, Simon, if you had an opportunity to have a go on that with yourself, Mitchell, but it was tricky.
Yeah, I didn't play on it. Did have a little roll up on it, as I generally do, just to see how it's running, mainly to assist with the commentary on any video we do. But Yeah, you're right. A lot of people were making comments about it, but if you just played it right, it was okay. I felt certainly.
Yeah, yeah. It was a quick mat. It was a quick
yeah,
mat as well, and it was it's tricky playing weight, and I think that's where I
yeah,
certainly just said, well, I'm just going to stick to drawing against, especially someone like Alex, who normally very good with his weighted shots, but he wasn't able really to play those shots. Fortunately for me, on that mat, and I think same for when you look at the final and look at Peter, he was drawing so well, leaving Stephen in a bit of trouble.
yeah, yeah. I think we need to mention, our 2 bronze medalists. So Nathan Hare again continues to play really consistent bowls, up to 4 in the world now. So another great weekend for him. And obviously Dan Sands, who had a great run.
Yeah.
Only just lost out to the Gale Force in the semi-final, 8-7. So a brilliant weekend for him, and fully deserved his bronze medal there, actually.
Yeah. Again, Nathan's been a consistent performer on the tour now for quite a few seasons, and definitely somebody that you wouldn't want to come up against in the draw, or especially when we get to the knockout stages of any tournament. So and actually Daniel's a bit of an enigma. I think he's I've seen him play some absolutely fantastic stuff, and again particularly on the quick stuff in Norway. So obviously it really suits his game.
Like I say, I preferred them wide green lights on the fast forward, which are quicker than the blue mat does. The blue mats do throw me a little. I find them just you don't usually pan a lot of them, and then you've got the other Verdi type mats, which are slightly slower in comparison to the others, but still all very quick mat pace.
Yeah. There was one mat, I can't remember which mat number it was, maybe 8, something like that, but that was, I think I played Yul Hago, my last group game on that game, and he actually borrowed a set of vectors, Taylor vectors to play on it, rather than his, aces or internationals, whatever he uses. And he had to switch bowls because it was so quick.
Yeah.
I managed to sneak through, but I love a quick mat though. I really do. Always prefer it to a slightly slower mat on mat venue. But that was the fastest mat I'd played for quite a while.
You'd probably say Matt, Simon, you played hockey on last year, actually.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in the that was last year. That's right. Yeah, again, that was a very quick mat. That was on the other side of the hall. Could well have been the same mat, but
I remember Mark Beattie playing Jonas in knockouts on that mat. This event just gone, and again having a bit of a struggle, especially with Jack winning the ditch, trying to draw to the line. Both players were struggling to keep their bowls on, so it was definitely on the rapid side.
And then we flew back over the water, back into England for the Bowls is Bowls World Fours the following month. And that was won by Pauline Beattie, Joe Beattie, Mark Beattie and Gary Moore in one of our biggest fours events to date, with over 60 fours. It was a massive event, loads of people there. It was just great to see a packed out event at Chelmsford.
Yeah.
It was also a repeat of the previous year's final, which just went the other way this time. But it was a great achievement from both fours to get both same fours to get to the final back-to-back years is some achievement from both of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's for me it's the hardest fours competition to win, and it's testament to both of those sides to getting back to the final again, particularly with the increase in the entries we had as well. It's a long day. It's not as long as it has been in previous years. Actually, I think we had reduced the ends down by an end to make a bit of a difference, and we did scrap the trial ends.
Yeah, that definitely helped the competition. It ran pretty much bang on time.
It did, yeah, which is rare for a fours comp, to be fair. But no taking away from the quality that was on display there from those teams. Some really, really good fours there. Ian Hobson's four, we come up against them in the knockouts, and they were very good against us, and I think we're up there towards the end of the day as well, and yeah, I mean, you look across, it was when you get to the last sort of 16, last 8 of that field, any one of those fours, I would say, would fancy their chances of winning.
And then the following day, we had the long day and then goes into the pairs, which was slightly quicker, but the Bowls World pairs, that was won by Ian Hobson and James Shaw. That's the second pairs victory now in that event for the World Pairs back in 2019. And in again, our biggest pairs event to date with 128. I mean, just to get those numbers are just eye-watering to say the least, but a great event nonetheless. And I would say one of the best pairs games I've seen streamed. Probably that game went down to literally the wire and a measure to decide it.
Yeah, really good day again on the Sunday in the pairs, and I had paired up with James Trott and had a good run there, and lost out to Pauline and Mark Beattie in the quarters. But yeah, I mean, again, Ian, James, and Jack and AJ were fantastic fun, nip and tuck all the way through. No big ends really conceded there. Definitely one of the best team matches that I've streamed. Most certainly, and got to be the best pairs final we've ever had to date as well. So no testament to all 4 players there in that final. They gave everything they could, and of course AJ and Jack were going for the European and world double, and just missed out there. So
no, but I mean, I played with Alistair and we played against Ian and James, and it's just literally you had no margin for error. It was just a nightmare to play against.
Yeah.
We had one bad end, and that was literally the difference. Got to 3, and we just could not make the difference up. That was literally all that was in it. But just keep your arm's length and just get through the games. But it's just, you think you're sitting there pretty with a good end, and then just Ian comes close as the end out, or you just don't get an inch in them pairs games. There's small margins, even in pairs over the length of the game. Still, as we've seen, come down to minute differences.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Brilliant final. James and Ian obviously winning it for a second time justifies Ian's nomination as a player's player for last year.
Yeah.
Because every event he plays in ours, he does very well. A very consistent bowler, as a lot of people listening, I'm sure, would agree. And I mean, a superb final, great to watch, really good.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Ian and the way he plays the game as well. Very, very good player, tactically very good as well. His delivery might be unorthodox in terms of he puts the same leg forward that he bowls with, but look at the consistency he gets with that and the accuracy he gets. So no, he's definitely one of the top players around. He was involved in one of the best singles finals that I remember watching him and Gary McNabb playing out, nip and tuck final. So he's definitely up there amongst the best.
I mean, you mentioned about delivery there, Craig, and like you say, it's different, but I think on delivery it just goes back to what the person's comfortable with, doesn't it? I mean, we've seen there's a variety of different deliveries out there.
You could pull everybody's delivery apart. I mean, there's no it's but you look at lots of other sports as well, and obviously just thinking about the darts on at the moment, and you see some of the techniques there as well. The best player that ever played darts probably hasn't got the best throw that they ever had, and I'm sure the best bowlers probably haven't got the best delivery that there is. But it's just about making best of what you do, basically, and adapting to the bowls you're using, the mats and the conditions. So it is just maximising that, and Ian certainly is one of those who maximises that. As well as lots of other players. As you say, that we can pull everybody's delivery apart, I think, in terms of what they do and what they don't do. As
we never do with you.
I was going to say, let's start with yours.
Well, my backhand's been a common theme, but at the moment I feel quite happy with the way it's working. So It's you definitely go through phases with it, I think, and we all have struggles and we all have sort of demons that we deal with it. Perhaps people are not as open about it as I probably have about my backhand, but I think it's sometimes good to be open about the fact if you're struggling about a certain shot or even a hand that you're playing on, because it is about overcoming it, and that just doesn't come around by itself. You need to put some effort into changing something.
And after all these years, Craig, you finally perfected the backhand, as smoothest as ever been.
Well, as smooth as it's been for me, about the smoothest it's ever been, but it's definitely smooth
still wobbly
for you.
It's still got a little bit of a wobble every now and then, but it's consistent, which is the main thing.
Okay, and we asked the public around the coldest venues, and we sort of mentioned those a little bit on the last one. So, coldest venues for you guys? Start with you, Craig.
Well, I remember the venue, and I think I put it on the post that we had playing, ICC back in the day, and Essex versus London, and London were switching venues quite regularly, I think, at this point. And one particular season, we played inside a indoor tennis complex, and all of the players were playing with their jumpers and blazers and anything they could put on, basically scarves, gloves in between bowling. It was pretty arctic, and it would have been a sort of a December, January sort of time, so it would have been freezing cold. That's definitely the sort of the coldest venue I think I've played in, but luckily enough I think I was playing singles, so I could kind of move about quite a bit. As I feel sorry for those, especially playing in the fours. That would have been quite a long day for them. But that's got to be the coldest venue I think I've played in.
See, now I'm wondering if I've played there, because there are two venues that stick in my head, and one of them was playing for England. Now, it was either against London or it was against Kent. I can't remember which, but it was on a freezing day, and we were having to wear blazers, our hats, everything. Would they have been playing there in around, 95, 96 maybe? Would you know that?
They might well have been. I mean, they change venues quite regularly, I think. So from that sort of mid-90s to this would have been very late 90s. This would have been.
Yeah, maybe.
They played. I remember them playing at Cyphers, which is only Thompson's indoor club, and a few other places as well. Sort of, different times. There's one they played in the Isle of Dogs, and which was my debut for Essex in the Summer League. I remember that. But this would have been around 98, 99, I would have thought. But I mean,
possible.
We did play
then
a tennis venue up in Shropshire, which was cold. For England, that was Telford, I think, the indoor tennis arena there, and that was fairly cold. And what the players and the England players were doing in between playing was on the next tennis court playing an indoor football match to keep themselves warm. I can remember that. So it may even be that it was maybe even that venue, because that was used a few times.
The other one for me was definitely the Dragon Centre in Bodmin. It's playing against Cornwall, and obviously in our local derby when I used to play for Devon. And I know Nick Truscott posted about that on that post we did. Yeah, that was cold. I mean, I've been to colder places to play. Obviously, Stromstad springs to mind. But obviously, we're
cold
inside.
for you at the moment.
Well, yeah, it is, to be fair. The weather's still been about 21, 22 today. It's been lovely here. We're flying back tomorrow. Of course, when this comes out, we'll already be back in the UK for Christmas. But I've packed my coat ready.
Need more in your coat.
Yeah. So, of course, the problem we have is playing in the heat here. So the other side of the coin there.
Yeah, I think was it Stephen Park put
plus
Drumstead minus 12 and Cyprus plus 34 from the events we held there. That's some change up.
Yeah.
And there was also other comments. Another one in Kent was Egerton that was mentioned by Tom Coles.
Okay.
In a cow shed.
That's right. Yeah.
It might have even been that you might have played at, Si.
Yeah, possibly, mate. Like I said, I do remember going over the Dartford crossing from where we were staying in the hotel to the Kent side. But I can't remember if we went into London or I really can't remember where it was because I wasn't driving back then.
It's all London to you, isn't it?
It's all London, yeah. Well, even you live in London, don't you? So, yeah, I really can't remember. But I definitely remember having to wear my blazer and a coat. It was freezing.
And on the flip side of that, to warmest venues. Now, the one I can remember, I remember playing at one in Cambridge and we played them in an ICC game, and it was it had a low ceiling, and I think that was why. And it was it was on the second floor as well, so it was absolutely boiling, and it was really, really warm, which is usually they're never quite just perfect indoor venues for very cold or very warm. Bowls venues in general, but that one street one was being really hot, but it was really low ceiling. Like it wasn't that. It was quite very low down, so it was very hot with all the lights, and it was very warm outside.
You must have played. Well, I'm guessing you played Mitchell, but obviously Craig's going to remember this. Either our first or second international open that we did with Barry and that. That Easter weekend.
Havering.
Was it Havering, was it?
Yeah.
Havering.
Oh, that was roasting.
PJ in the bin.
That's right. That was that one.
Sorry, PJ.
Yeah, the lads will remember that.
Actually, I remember that being
hot.
warm because it was quite warm on that Easter weekend a few times.
I think a few times we had with Easter, being obviously when it is and it being generally fairly warm. Sort of, in Essex, at that sort of time of year, we do tend to, if Easter's late, which I think it was on these couple of occasions. Yeah, it was a couple of times it was fairly warm. But yeah, I mean, definitely some summer league games playing, and it's back in the day when you had to wear a tie and a blazer and all of that.
Yeah,
I don't miss those days with all of that clobber, but it's definitely definitely a few venues that were warm. I think even places like Arrow Valley and stuff like that in the summertime were quite warm.
Yeah, when you play the Fours.
Yeah, or even England trials and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's lots of those sort of places. Definitely. Well, an indoor bowling club certainly, especially the sort of tin roof type places.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot better now that clothing has become a bit more tolerable. What you're allowed to wear, which has definitely made a difference.
And even our very own event in August can be warm if it's on the bank holiday. It has been on the odd occasion, not too bad, and also with our relaxed dress code that helps players.
It used to be pretty warm in Bromsgrove. I remember a couple of the UK Opens when we were up there.
Yeah. And actually, the only other one I can think of is probably when you got players who are getting sunburnt. Which was obviously our event in Cyprus.
Yeah.
So you had the flips. All the players that had come from the UK over to play wanted to play outside, and all the players that lived locally inside wanted to play indoors with the air conditioning.
Yeah.
So, but Trot definitely. Is it Trot had his legs burnt on day one?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah.
And Lawrence, I think, had a little bit of sunburn as well.
Yeah. Yes, Lawrence definitely did. I can't remember if it was the back of his legs or his feet or something.
Feet, I think it was. Yeah. But
and then he had to put his bowl shoes on.
I can't think what we measured the green as in terms of its heat, but it was that was pretty warm. And
because that was June, which obviously isn't. I mean, yes, it can get hot there, but it's not our hottest months. But yeah, I think as Steve Puttock put it did get up to sort of mid-30s a couple of days.
And on that green, it was really hot.
Yeah,
when the sun's beating down on it and sort of reflecting back up at you.
Yeah, because it's artificial. It's not a grass green. It's artificial. So yeah, that was a warm few days, but very nice. I play in that all the time now. It's lovely.
Where nice. You get that bronze in from, Simon.
That's it, mate. Yeah. That's right.
And looking ahead to our first event of 2024 at the British Open in York, and last year's winner Gary McNabb is in Group 10. Unfortunately, matched with myself. I'm pleased about that one.
He gets all the lucky draws.
Yeah, he's got saying the same thing.
He's like, oh God, thank God I missed Connie.
I don't know what you're talking about, Simon.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will do.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
And our current world number one, Peter Roberts in Group 14, one that a lot of our players and those that play in our events do enjoy the British Open in York. A lot of people really do enjoy York. That's one that they do say is one of their favourites.
Yeah.
But yes, we're all looking ahead, and the draw's now been done, so we're all looking forward to that post Christmas in the first week of January.
Yeah, it's going to be a good event, that.
Yeah, it's always look forward to going back to York. Kicks the season or the year off really well. I say we're halfway through. It's crazy that we're halfway through the season already, and it seems like yesterday we're getting ready for August. But yeah, no, great venue in York. We tend to get quite a few players from sort of the northern zone regions playing as well. Obviously, a lot of the Scottish players coming down as well, which is great. So yeah, it should be another good weekend, and yeah, let's see who hangs on to his number one spot after that weekend.
I'm looking forward to getting my gold medal, I'll be honest.
And the 5-hour journey where me and Simon try and name the number one tunes on the radio.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing a lot of people forget, that the amount of work that goes into getting that event. People said to us about running events elsewhere, don't they, Simon? But just the amount of time we get two very large vans, load them up at Chelmsford with all of our equipment and drive up. It's not the easiest of venues from an organising perspective for us to take all of the 33 mats up there. But we do enjoy it, and I think we've only got one of those events in a season, to be fair, though. So we appreciate that people keep suggesting different venues for us, but it is difficult, that one, unless a venue's got its own equipment.
But we do it because we love you.
And also gives all of our lucky players the opportunity to listen to all of the podcasts if they haven't listened to them before. And you do them all before you even get to York. I mean, that's just... a few players have been saying to me when they've been on their way to bowls events, they have been whacked this on in the car.
Probably wouldn't recommend it on long journeys, especially if you're on your own driving, just in case we do send you
maybe
sleep.
We're listening to it. Maybe we're listening to it right now, Mitchell, on the way up to York.
Stop talking to yourself, Simon.
Yeah, that would be pretty sad if you two are doing that.
Well, you never know.
And also, just a reminder, entries to our charity pairs weekend are open on the 1st of June, which is the Trevor Pay Pairs in aid of Rowan's Hospice, and the 2nd of June is the Falcon Open Pairs in aid of the neonatal unit at Broomfield Hospital. And we're doing pretty well for those so far. We've got over 40 pairs for both, and they're both individual one-off pairs events, so be played to the winner on each individual day for both tournaments, and you can enter those events on our website at shortmatplayerstour.com. So do support those for great charities. Now, before we finish, the other thing I wanted to mention, I think we've had this discussion a few times, Craig, but about sort of practicing or training, as some people refer to it. What are the things that, when you do get the opportunity to either practice or train, what do you either focus on, or any drills or sort of things that you do?
I mean, at the moment, very very little, to be honest. I don't get much. I just play tournaments, but I think building up to August, I definitely was playing singles, a lot of singles, and tried to play competitive matches as much as possible to keep myself up. But I think for anyone out there trying to improve their game, what shot do you get called to play, or do you fear playing? Practice that shot to your. You don't fear it anymore, and you don't feel like it's a shot that you can't do. And no matter the times I hear, I can't do that shot, I can't do. There's no such thing. You need to be practicing these shots. And what I used to do when I did practice was do that shot 10 times and get it until I got it sort of 8 or 9 times out of 10, until I was happy with it. And then I move on to the next shot that I was going to practice. So I appreciate not every everyone's got the opportunities maybe to do that on their club nights and whatever else. But the one bugbear I do have is just rocking up to a club night, to a practice, and you just we'll play triples or we'll play fours, and you just play a match, and there's nothing really on it, and you're not actually learning anything. You're not actually, all you're doing is going through the motions. So I think you do need to have some kind of, get away from that and actually have something where you're actually trying to improve and to better your game.
Simon, do you practice loads or?
No, I'm pretty much the same as Craig. We have, so over here, busy working. We have 3 club sessions a week. I can usually make 2 of them, apart from in the summer where I can only usually make 1. But I mean, I'm not that overly bothered about myself now. I'm trying to pass my things that I've learned over the many years to my club players, and even further afield in Cyprus, we've been talking about getting an international team put together. So we're looking at things like that. So, I mean, I totally agree with what Craig said there about the going to the club week in, week out, just playing a game. Yes, okay, you're playing a game and you will get some improvement from that a little bit, but it's worth, what we generally do is we do that the majority of the time. But if I'm there, we'll talk about different shots and this is for both sides playing together. We talk about different shots that we can play and what advantages and disadvantages those shots have. I mean, I'm quite lucky in the fact that the majority of, well, in fact, literally all the bowlers in our club basically started from fresh, have never played the game before. So they've all had to learn at pretty much the same pace. So that sort of works quite well for us. But I encourage them, and even in the last couple of weeks, I've been up and I've just been chatting to the guys and saying, a lot of the time you're all drawing all the time. There's no real aggression in any of your games when perhaps there needs to be a little bit. So I said, what you need to do is just on one of the days, don't play a game, just set up 4 mats and have a different shot on each mat and just practice those shots. And it's generally for our guys, I mean, they can all draw okay, but it's generally the firing and especially the backhand firing, which tends to be harder. Just have, as Craig says, have a go at it 10 times until you improve it. And I would agree, that's what you need to do. Everyone can play a good shot that they're used to playing and are good at playing, but you can't always rely on that. A more rounded player is pretty good at playing every shot that needs to be played. And if you want to improve, that's what you've got to do. You've got to practice those shots that you're not necessarily comfortable with.
Yeah. And the other thing as well, the simple shot is sometimes the one that you don't practice, but actually, that draw into the medium jack or the middle jack or long jack, just how many times if you're playing in a skip position, the head's been hit or something, and it's quite open, and you miss it. So you need to be able to take advantage of those.
Draw.
Yeah, the simple draws, and it is all about that. So again, just practice those type of shots as well. So you do need, it does take time, and it is all about the time you put in will help. The more you put in, the more you get out of it.
Yeah.
Or you create the situation. So a bit like you were saying, Greg, the simple ones, but you're putting bowls in the way, so you've actually got to get around them, or you're setting them up in an actual game situation, or to ones that you can remember where, say, it's that one at the weekend or the week before, I want to keep practicing this one. But you create the situational ones of either in, like, pairs, triples, fours, where, they're ones that you keep practicing those. For me, those are ones I would create situational ones of gone, I missed that one the other day, I want to practice that.
I mean, the one thing you can't recreate is that maybe the pressure that you may well be under that. But again, the other way, I guess, the more comfortable you are playing the shot, the more comfortable you should be playing it under any situation. And that's where it comes in. And again, trying to use, don't let it's easy to say, but don't let the occasion get to you either that you're playing in and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, I love it when there's a bit of music playing in the background, because I kind of just, for me, that's me zoning out to that. I'm listening to the music, and I think even I'll sing along to the music, maybe in my head, sort of thing, to sort of just keep me on that level, sort of thing, and not think about the occasion or what you're playing in. So it is just, you can't, whilst you can't recreate playing in a tournament when you're going up your club and practicing, but I think the more comfortable you are playing a particular shot, the more comfortable you should feel in any time you have to play that. So again, just get comfortable. The main thing is, what shot do you not like having to play, and just practice that until you feel comfortable with it. And seek advice from some, the better players in your club and the better players around. Look at some of the videos that we've got up on, Facebook and YouTube. Look at some of the better players. Backhand firing, as Simon mentioned, is the hardest shot in the book. But the more you practice it, and there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Everyone's got a different way of playing a backhand firing shot. Just choose something that will work for you with your stance, with your delivery, with your bowls.
Yeah.
So it's horses for courses.
The Craig handbook on how to play shortmat bowls.
All horses for courses.
In all good bookshops.
In time for Christmas.
In time for Christmas, and the bad ones too.
No, but as the segue quite nicely. Yes, if you want to watch back or take a look at any of our matches that we've streamed previously at our events, they can be found on Facebook, or we've recently updated all of our streamed matches onto our YouTube channel. So please do check that out, and don't forget to subscribe. Other than that, I think we'll keep it short and sweet for this episode, and we'll do another one following the British Open, hopefully. But other than that, I think it's just to wish everyone from the SMPT team a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And have a good Christmas, Craig and Simon.
Yep,
Don't drink too much.
Yeah, cheers.
Well, maybe a couple of shandies, Craig's favourite drink. We're coming over to the UK to spend time with Gemma's dad and brothers and sister-in-law, and we've got 2 birthdays to celebrate while we're over there, so we might have a couple of festive drinks while we're there, I'm sure.
I'm celebrating my
your birthday, isn't it? Yes. Is that while we're travelling up to York?
That will be, it's on
that
Friday
day,
the 5th, so looking forward to that. And I think the next year it's actually on one of the days we're playing, so it's fun of having a birthday so close to Christmas.
Yeah. Well, you get to see our good-looking faces, so that's always a pleasure.
And that's another. Anyway,
it's a wonderful SMPT present from us, loading the mats up on the Friday.
Yeah.
But so we'll wish you, everyone, all of the players and all bowlers and from the team, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you all in York in January. Thank you both for joining us and
thanks, Mitch.
Catching up on all the action we've had and a little bit else in between.
Yeah.
It's been good, and we'll catch you on the next episode of Behind the Fender podcast. And we'll see you again on the next episode of Behind the Fender podcast by the Shortmat Players Tour. And don't forget to check out our website, shortmatplayerstour.com. If you have enjoyed the podcast, then please do like, subscribe and share so we can spread the word about the tour and Shortmat Bowls. And if you want to follow us for all the latest information, then you can find us on Facebook, Twitter at Shortmat Players, Instagram Shortmat Players Tour, and now on TikTok at Shortmat Players Tour. If you're interested in getting a new shirt to play in our events, or a hoodie or fleece, then head over to bowlshredder.co.uk and type in SMPT into the product search to view our range for available clothing.